It is not a trampoline. It was explained to me that you can look up a trampoline in any encyclopedia, and it means a big device, 6 by 12, that you do vertical, spatial, acrobatic tricks on. The little miniature trampolines, I've got an imitation of it here, and that little thing is sets at an angle like this, so that cheerleaders can run along and do cartwheels off of it, because a trampoline, you remember, is for mid-air spatial acrobatics, and they do flips off of it. When they cut the legs off of it, it's no longer a trick device, and there's some things that happen with it by the way it's made, and I'm going to show you the differences in just a second. You'll begin to understand why they didn't call it a trampoline. I walked in just boldly and said, I want to talk to somebody about this trampoline that you all have designed and developed here. And of course, the fact that I found out they had spent a little over $1 million researching this about 25 years ago prior to the first liftoff to make a device for a specific purpose, I didn't know what it was all about. I just said, I want to talk to somebody about this trampoline. And when I was told that it was not a trampoline, I said, what do you call it? And they said, it's called a gross motor control proprioceptor stimulator. I said, you don't say. What's it for? And they said, for proprioception. And I didn't know any more than I did before they started talking to me. And I said, what's it for? I need to teach my audiences this. Proprioception has to do with balance. A child, an infant, is born without any little nerve reactors in his feet and ankles, and he cannot stand up for 10 months. Birds and animals can walk immediately, but not you. It seems that the person who designed your body made it possible for you to have something that was effective while your defense mechanisms were developing. You couldn't stand the impact of walking, not when you're a baby. Not until you're about 10 months old does it develop. And that's when these little nerve reactors called proprioceptors develop, and then you can stand up for the first time in your life. And of course, the first thing you do is jump on the crib, and then you're bouncing on the bed, and you're bouncing on the sofa, and then you're jumping on pogo sticks. You're jumping and bouncing and running till you're about 20 years old. And then you quit bouncing, and then you start to get sick, and you wonder why. This was designed for the older astronauts, those that were close to 50 years old, because there's something that starts to happen about that age of life in which these little proprioceptors or nerve reactors, you start to lose them because you don't use them enough. And you lose about 23% of them, according to the physical therapist, or the chief therapist at the Presbyterian Hospital. She told me this. I said, really? That's right. And by the time you're about 50 years old, there's something that will happen. If you ever stand up and you're asked to bow your head and close your eyes, or for whatever reason, if you're in the shower and you get to open your eyes, or if someone turns the light off, whatever, there's something to do with your balance. Because once you close your eyes and lose your ocular horizon, so you don't know where level's at, you better be holding on to a pew or to a chair or something, because if you don't, you're going to stand there like this, and you're going to weave back and forth. And if you happen to be in worship service, and there's a couple of kids down here, they're going to think you had a rough time on Saturday night. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the loss of these little nerve reactors. I said, how does this work on an astronaut? This is how it works. They put an astronaut on there with 1 foot and let him stand there like this. And that foot will take off and move all 4 directions real quick, because it's soft in the middle, and it would teach their motor controls where up is. 95% of the public can stand on here like this and close their eyes, and they'll just simply fall off. I shut my eyes, and you can see my foot, it'll take off and move 3 times as fast to keep my balance. But you can keep your balance and learn how to do it quickly with this, and that's what they designed it for. However, when they went to outer space, there was no gravity, no balance problem, and they released it to public domain. That's been about 23, 24 years ago. Then all of a sudden, somebody picked it up about 16, 17 years ago, something like that, 18 years ago, and they started to advertise it as an exercise device. You know, hoot and nanny. Anything to make a buck. They didn't seem to know about the absence of G-forces that this provided. Now, I'm going to show you how these are made, and then I'm going to show you some things that NASA overlooked, but we discovered it simply by working with it and learning from therapists and doctors and people that we were all associated with. And that's what we're going to share with you in the next few minutes, and actually show you how to relieve some pain.